proclaimed martial law in accordance with the powers vested in the President by the Constitution of the Philippines.
Ang bayan kong Pilipinas.
On September 21, 2012, we commemorate the 40th anniversary of the proclamation of martial law by then President Marcos that ushered in one of the darkest periods in our history. 40 years is a long time, more than a generation. As we look back, we join the nation in saying, never again. Never again should we allow dictatorship to be imposed on our country. Never again should we allow the rights of the Filipino people to be massively violated. And never again should we allow our democratic institutions to be trampled upon. This message should be taken to heart by every Filipino, especially those in government, in whose reigns we have entrusted the governance of the country that we so dearly love, guided by the high and noble principles of the 1987 Constitution that was forged from the struggle against the dictatorship. The overarching message of the 1987 Constitution, marking our never again moment in EDSA in 1986, is that respect for human rights should be at the core of governance and our way of life as a nation. And yet, 40 years after Proclamation 1081 imposed martial law throughout the country in 1972, the thousands of victims of human rights violations, the compensation bill pending in Congress since the 8th Congress still has to be passed and signed into law. And a number of them have already died, are sick, and aging fast. The CHR, true to its mandate in the 1987 Constitution, has consistently campaigned for the passage of the compensation bill ever since the first legislative proposal was filed in Congress. It has also assisted in the distribution last year, from March until October, of the checks to the victims arising from the Hawaii case. It has also successfully lobbied for the AFP to turn over declassified files of the martial law period. This is still a work in progress. The lessons of that dark period should also be taken to heart by the security forces today. Having been the implementers of martial law during that time, and inevitably the perpetrators of the massive human rights violations against our people, we are heartened today by the AFP's paradigm shift and the PNP's transformation program that upholds human rights and the rule of law at the core of their programs. Today, the Commission on Human Rights joins other sectors of Philippine society in opposing the attempt by some political sectors to rewrite that dark period in our history to portray it as the best thing that ever happened to the Philippines. This is a pernicious attempt to escape accountability, to deny the victims their right to justice and compensation. What is worse than plagiarism? It is rewriting history. We acknowledge the support of other institutions and sectors in these efforts of the Commission on Human Rights, including civil society and the UN Development Program, or UNDP, here in the Philippines. This is a common effort by all stakeholders to uphold historical truth and to promote justice and human rights for all.
Magkakapit-pisig, libu-libong tao, kay sarap pala maging Pilipino. Sama-sama iisa ang adhikain, kailanman di na paaalipin ang iyong Pilipino sa mundo. Mapayapa para ang
nagaganap sa aming bayan. Magkasama ng mahirap at mayaman.
Kapit, bisig, madre, pari at sundalo.